How do you find time as a graduate student to work on your own piece? How do you take a piece and find a way to move it towards publication? You've got a lot on your plate, right? You've got course assignments, assistantships, family responsibilities, etc. How do you keep writing and getting published from falling to the bottom of your to-do list? That's coming up in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get new notifications because I put out new videos each week. All right, so today we have a question from a viewer and it goes like this. How do you find time as a graduate student to work on your own piece? I have a piece I want to move towards publication, but it keeps falling to the bottom of my to-do list during the school year as I juggle course assignments, my assistantship, etc. And I'm sure family life, hobbies, things that you would like to do that have nothing to do with being a graduate student, right? So let's talk about that because it is very doable, but you want to be very mindful about how you approach your work. So I'm going to give you the method that I used as a graduate student that I recommend. I did publish as a graduate student. I published 5 or 6 pieces, and most of those were solo authored in Tier 1 or Tier 2 journals. And how did I do that? Okay, so the first thing to keep in mind is pick just one piece. All right, you might have all these really great ideas for like 2 pieces or 3 pieces, but you can't do 2 or 3 pieces at once. Okay, even now as an assistant professor, as associate professor, now I'm a full professor. I don't try to juggle 2 or 3 pieces at once. Okay, not brand new pieces. Sometimes I have a piece that's getting revised while I'm working on a new one, but that's different. But we're talking about developing a piece and getting it out the door. Pick one piece, okay? Because you have assistantship responsibilities. You're teaching classes or you're collecting data for research projects. You have things you have to read and write for your courses, okay? And you have to manage all of that really well. So pick your one piece. And you're not going to let this fall to the bottom of your list because you're going to find a spot for it on your calendar. All right, so let me explain how this works. Let's say that I teach class every Monday from 9 a.m. till noon. And I'd say I run into you on a Friday and you say, hey, Leigh, I really need to meet with you next week. It's super urgent. But unfortunately, I'm going to be going out of town and the only time I have to meet with you is Monday at 10:30. I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I teach class on Mondays from 9 to noon. And you know what? You're going to get that. You're going to understand that. You are going to understand that I'm not going to cancel class to meet with you. I'm not going to, walk out of the room at 10:30 and leave my students in there to meet with you. You're going to completely understand that. So we have to take this mindset and apply it to writing, okay? And so what I recommend is that each Friday, it could be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, it just needs to be one day during the week. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the best options for this. I sit down each Friday and I look at my calendar. I still do this now, okay? I am a full professor. I still do this. This has benefits to getting your stuff done and having the kind of career you want, okay? Because I'm still shaping my career and what I want. So every Friday you sit down and you look at your calendar for the upcoming week, okay? And this really what I'm saying, I mean, this is good advice in general, but in thinking about as a doctoral student, all right, when you're looking at your calendar for that upcoming week, find 2 days, hopefully 3. If you can do more, great, but 2 to 3 days is very reasonable, where you can spend 2 hours working on your piece. So you're looking at 4, maybe 6 hours a week, all right, where you are going to write that into your calendar. You are making an appointment with yourself. It's just like going to a faculty meeting or a program meeting, or if you have to, meet with a student in your class, it's the same kind of thing. Look at your calendar, write it in, okay? If you could do more, great. If but 2 to 3 days is what I would say you need to do to keep up that consistency. Now, maybe you can't spend 2 hours at a time. Maybe, that's a good idea, but logistically it doesn't work for you. I think you can scale down to 1 hour. It's not ideal, but what I don't want you to do is say, oh, well, Leigh said I had to do 2 hours and I can't do that. I only have 1, so I guess I can't write. No, you can. An hour is better than nothing. It's when it gets down to like half hour or less that I think that's not a good use of your time because you don't have time to really, warm up, get your head around things, build some momentum, okay? And that's what you want. You want to be building momentum, generating momentum, knowing this is when my writing's going to happen. Because if you don't know when your writing's going to happen, then it's hard. Like I like writing, but I'm not just going to probably wander in and sit down and start start doing it. I schedule it with myself. And at this point, I've been scheduling it with myself for almost 20 years. So it's just a routine. It's just a habit. All right. And the trick here really is to find this rhythm that works for you so that your schedule going from week to week looks largely the same, right? So you have times where you know you're teaching class, or where you know you're collecting research data, where you know you're planning or grading. I schedule all of these things. These things do not happen randomly. I sit down on a Friday and I think, what time do I teach class? I block that out on my calendar. Actually, that's always blocked out from the get-go for that semester. When am I planning and grading? When is that happening? That gets blocked out. When am I writing? Do I have to do data collection? Do I have to do data analysis? Those things get blocked out, right? And then writing gets blocked out as well. And I prioritize writing, okay? Obviously my class is already in there. Obviously, like if I might have some meetings already scheduled, but I prioritize writing. I make sure that it finds a spot and then it finds a pretty regular and consistent place on my schedule, so that what happens is you're gonna fall, at least for a semester, you're gonna fall into this rhythm of, for the most part, what a week looks like. You know when you're teaching, you know when you're writing, you know when you're planning, you know when you're grading, you know when you're having your meetings, etc. Not all weeks are the same, obviously. Some weeks looks very different. Some weeks I have more meetings than other weeks, and I have to adjust for that. But I do prioritize my writing. I do make sure it gets scheduled. Sometimes you might find that you're writing 3 days a week, okay, 2 hours at a time. But then you have one week that, it's a holiday, or it's really, you got a lot of extra meetings going on, or it's the end of the semester, so you have more grading going on. There might be a little more of something in a week, so you have to scale down to 2 days instead of 3 days, or 1 day instead of 2 days. That's okay, as long as that's not the norm, right? So that's what we're really working on here. We're working on building up a rhythm, building up a norm, and making writing part of what we schedule with ourselves each and every week. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch all my videos. And while you're at it, head down to the comments and let's talk. How are you getting your writing done, right? And if you're a graduate student, how are you making decisions about when you're going to write? How much are you writing? What are you struggling with? Talk about that. Leave your questions and comments so that we can help one another, support one another, and help you move forward with your academic journey.